Hello there guys, Dennis back here with another video, and today we're going to talk about something that I'm personally invested in myself, which is going to be the land game. Flip lots, buy lots, vacant land. I think vacant land is a great way to get into real estate, and it's kind of like the gateway to get into real estate because you don't have to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars of your own money to get into real estate. If you have $20,000, you're pretty much ready to start investing in land and start building your wealth that way. Now, I had the great fortune over my career to do a lot of land deals, and I've worked with investors, friends, and I've learned a thing or two along the way that I'm going to share with you guys in this video. So if you want to get into this, there's a couple of money traps that you're going to want to avoid to save you guys a lot of headache and a lot of money down the road. So hopefully it brings you guys a lot of value. And the goal is, of course, not to lose money, it's to make money. So now the golden rule is to never buy a property sight unseen, because we never know if the satellite picture is recent, when it was taken. We also don't know if the listing pictures are recent and when it was taken. And a lot of sellers are up north in different states. They have not seen their property in 20, 30 years. So we don't know what the condition is of the property. We don't know what the current situation is like. So never buy a property sight unseen. Always go there and take a look at it. Now, I do have an example of this. Like a friend of mine who was buying a property a couple years back, it was kind of like a mountainy area. And so he went there for the first time after closing on his property, and he saw that half of his land was actually on a slope, on a hill. And so it's completely useless to him. He was not able to see this from the satellite images, okay? So always make sure to go see the property first. And there's a couple of other things that may happen that you can't see from satellite pictures, which I'm gonna go through in the remainder of this video right now. Now, the next golden rule, okay, rule number 2, is always buy properties with unique markers. And this means, is it a corner lot? Okay, corner lots usually are much more rare. Usually they're a little bit oversized, so they're going to be a lot more sought after. Is it on the water? Is it northern exposure, eastern exposure, western, southern exposure? Here in Florida, where I live, usually western exposure and southern exposure are the most sought after. And simply because if you want to build on your lot and you want to have a pool, then with southern exposure, you can pretty much be guaranteed that you have sunlight on your pool pretty much all day long. You don't have that if you have the other exposure types. Maybe northern, depending on where your pool sits. Western exposure, the reason that is very popular is because you want to have the sunset in your backyard. You're going to have sunlight by your pool like after 1 o'clock, and that's really when it matters anyway. So those are the things that buyers look out for, and they're going to make your lot a lot more unique and a lot more sought after. Another thing that you guys should take advantage of is, are there any major corporations in the area? Because a lot of these corporations, like Publix, for example, grocery store, we have Whole Foods, the grocery store, Starbucks, they spend millions over millions of dollars to do research on what areas are going to be popping next, basically, where there's a lot of potential growth in the future. So if you piggyback on their research that they spend a lot of money for, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a great investment if you hold it long enough. Another thing that is very, very important to know is utilities. Water, sewer, utility pole. In your research, you're going to come across areas that may be not so developed, and you're going to come across areas that are very developed that have city water and sewer already. Now, usually properties that have city water and sewer are more valuable than the ones that don't have city water and sewer. And the reason for this is because of the construction cost. If you have a builder that wants to build a home on this vacant lot, if they have to just connect the utility line with the city water and the sewer connection, that is going to be very easy. That's going to be inexpensive and not very complicated. But if you have no city water and sewer, then you're going to have to elevate your entire property in order to bury a septic tank in the yard, dig a well. You're going to have to haul in expensive truckloads of sand. And right now, sand is very, very expensive. So this is why properties that have city water and sewer connection are usually more valuable, simply because of the construction cost associated with it. Another very important thing to note is, if you don't have city water, when is the city expected to connect the utility lines? If you have a property that's not connected yet and they come in and do it, they're going to assess your lot about $40,000 to $45,000 in assessment fees. Those assessment fees don't have to be paid at once. You can choose to pay them at once, but usually they're enrolled in your taxes, so you have to pay them down over a certain number of years. Definitely not fun, so your taxes are going to go up, and your overall holding cost of this property, if you want to hold on to it for a year, 2, 3, or 5 years, is going to be a lot different. So you're going to want to know this. If you do have city water and sewer already installed, you're going to want to know how long it has been installed. Because in this case scenario, it's the exact same situation, just reversed. The previous owners may have paid down this balance already quite a bit for you, or they have paid it off altogether. This also enhances the value of your property, is how much is left over on this utility balance. Now here's another issue for if you want to sell your lot, for example. Most of the buyers are going to be builders that want to build on the property. What would be important to them is the utility pole. Is the utility pole in the front of the property? Is it in the back of the property? Is it even close by to the property? This can have certain challenges associated with it. If you're in an area like my area that has been ravaged by hurricanes over the last couple of years, a lot of times these utility poles, they snap off, then they have the electric company come out, repair everything, but then they leave the cables hanging pretty far down. This may be a problem for your buyer because they may think, well, am I going to be able to get my trucks and my tools all the way to the property where I'm building if these utility lines are kind of hanging in the way? If that is the case, and I had this happen a couple times in the past, then you're going to have to determine what kind of line is it. Is it the electric line? Is it the one for your phone, for your internet? Based on that, you're going to have to call the company out to shorten those lines a little bit. And I can tell you guys one thing, you're not going to be on their main priority list, so it may take a while. It can delay the whole process, cost the builder money, and it may divert them away from your property. So you're going to want to deal with this problem beforehand. That's just something to look out for you guys. Another reason why we always follow the golden rule of never buying a property sight unseen is endangered species. Now this is going to be area specific, but here in Florida, Southwest Florida, where I'm from, this is a big problem. So we have, certain endangered species like animals, and we also have invasive plant species that you're going to want to know of. I didn't even know this thing existed until I got an email one day saying that we have a Brazilian pepper tree on one of our properties, and I was like, Brazilian? What is a Brazilian tree doing here in Florida anyways? And why is it a problem? Well, apparently they're very invasive. So if they see that you have a Brazilian pepper tree standing there, they're going to force you to cut it down. It's a couple $100, not bad. It's usually not a huge problem. But what is a huge problem is endangered species. Here in Cape Coral, we got two main ones. We got the burrowing owls, which are the cute little owls that are kind of looking out of the ground with the huge eyes. And then we have the gopher tortoises. The way this works, if you have burrowing owls on your property, I'm going to go over this first. Before you get your permits for construction, you're going to have to get these removed. And to be honest with you guys, it's not fun to have to evict an owl family that's been living there for a long time and then pay a lot of money for it. So usually you have to pull a permit. It's $250 to $300. Takes about 90 days. Then they're going to come out and they're going to force you to make a donation of $1,900 to preserve these owls. Okay, so it's going to be $1,900 per cluster, and you can have multiple clusters on your property. You may have to go through this process a couple of times. Definitely very expensive and definitely not fun. And another thing is, you cannot get rid of these owls if they're in mating season. You can't touch them at all. So this may delay the process even further. These animals are very, very persistent. So if you don't have all your ducks in a row, all your permits approved, all your construction material lined up so you can start construction right away, these owls may come back, and in that case scenario, you're gonna have to start the process all over again. So try to avoid those lots altogether that have burrowing owls on them so we can avoid this entire situation. This is gonna be an even bigger problem, is gonna be gopher tortoises. If you walk on your property, you can see these oval-shaped holes. The oval-shaped holes usually is a great indicator that you have gopher tortoises on your property, and they're usually close to like a water source. So if you buy a property that has, water access, a canal in the back, usually these gopher tortoises live there and have their nest there. Now the issue with these is you have to pull a permit again, $250 to $300 for the permit cost, but then they're going to charge you per turtle $5,000, guys. It's definitely not cheap. $5,000 per turtle, and I've seen lots that have 40 turtles on them, and if that's the case, you know what? I mean, your investment is pretty much gone at that point, okay? It's a huge problem. Stay away from these lots altogether and definitely make sure to do your research. Another factor that you guys want to look out for is wetlands. Here in Florida, this is a specific issue here in Florida. We have some areas that have wetlands. Now, what is wetlands? Wetlands is an area that is protected again by nature. There is a map online that everybody can access where you can see if there is some wetlands in the area or not. If you do get a wetland certificate, then that pretty much stays with the property. There's nothing you can do. You're gonna have to disclose, and the land use goes down dramatically, which means that your values go down dramatically. So try to stay away from wetlands. You have a map online that everybody can see where there is wetland determinations in specific areas. So make sure to do your due diligence on that as well. Now guys, if you made it this far in the video, I certainly appreciate you guys watching and tuning in here today. Hopefully I was able to get you guys a lot of value here. But if you're looking to invest in land, just let me know. I'm an expert in land and I can tell you exactly which areas to avoid, which areas are really good and have a lot of positive growth in the future. where you can have potential great returns. So just give me a call. My information is of course down in the description below. I'm Dennis Muchow with Remax here in Cape Coral. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of video you guys want to see next, and I'll get that done. See you guys next time.